Hey everybody, this is Jared from Zen Hustlers, and as you know, we love to interview people who we really feel like are living with balance on the edge as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and as a professional working so that we can enjoy this one life that we get and we're not overwhelmed into the grave, which a lot of people are, unfortunately. So Zen Hustlers is all about helping you find resources to balance on that edge. That could be a podcast, it could be a book, it could be an interview, or it could be a supplement that you start taking. So we like to feature all those things on zenhustlers.com. Head over there. And as part of our way of giving back to our community, we love to interview people that we really feel like are walking the talk. They're people that embody this as a lifestyle, as a work style, and have found that balance on the edge as a continuing journey. We're never quite there. We're always on a path. And that's why I have these two paths next to me. You have the old way and a new way, and it's adapting new habits and new patterns as we see fit. So today, I have the honor of speaking with Theresa Rose. Theresa and I met through a community called C-Suite Network, which is a community of online executives that meet to do thought leadership, to do enterprise level talks, to do what we used to do was in person, where I started with the C-Suite years ago, in-person events, which I hear is coming back, which I'm very excited about. And Theresa is a strategic coach. She's a multi-award-winning author. And welcome to Zen Hustlers Balance, Theresa. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Jared, for having me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having an enlightening conversation.
Yeah, so tell people a little bit more about your background. I always feel like I can never fully encompass someone wholly.
Whew. Well, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I have a very long background. I'll try to bring it down to its essence. That is what I actually try to do, is crystallize content. So I've had many lifetimes professionally. I have a management consulting background, marketing and product development at an enterprise level. I also have owned an alternative healing center and had a practice, a holistic center that I ran with mindfulness studies and energy medicine. And now I was a professional keynote speaker, author, coach, consultant, stand-up comedian, all-around great gal. And now I work.
A little overwhelmed just hearing your bio, right?
Exactly,
like all
right?
the things we try to do in this professional life, right?
Oh, it's exhausting just reading my own bio.
Well, I'm so thankful that you're able to take the time today. I appreciate your time so much. And I really want to give people as much value as we can today as far as strategic things that they can do. But first, we need to acknowledge the problem. There's massive anxiety, depression, even suicide amongst entrepreneurs, business professionals. We don't often talk about it because it's not positive growth mindset thinking, which is something I encourage people to let that go. We need to talk about all sides of this world that we decide to enter. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning of their journey, and I often caution them. It's a cautionary tale, because if you don't manage your time and your energy and your relationships right, they will break. And sometimes they break really badly. So tell me a little bit about, how did you come to that sense of, you know what, I need to make tell me what was some of the challenges you've dealt with. Just in those areas, just a couple of them.
Boy, every day is a challenge for all of us. I am a student of and a teacher of energy management. That's what I do. That's what I focus on every moment, is where's my energy, who's taking it, who am I giving it to, how am I getting it back? All of those things, because I find that in my life, whether it's changes in, relationships or in jobs, or, life transitions that happen, people come and people go. How do we handle the transitions? The transitions are the things that I've studied because I think that really defines who we are. It's really easy to be conscious when everything's going great.
Yes.
It's far more difficult to be conscious and mindful and aware when you are in that bubble, that we all have been in so many different situations.
Yeah. Was there one experience that's sticking out in your mind where you're like, I have got to make a change. This is not sustainable to living. Something
Well, I had struggled with my weight, my body acceptance for my whole life. I really described myself as, one big head, and then I didn't pay any attention to anything south of the collarbone. And when I turned 40, I decided, you know what, I feel like what I can accomplish is diminished by the fact that I'm not paying attention to my body. I realized that what I could offer and how I was showing up were two different things. So I really took the opportunity to go, okay, enough now. I'm going to do the deeper work of self-examination and acceptance and love. And then the nourishing and the nurturing came along with it. So I always put diet as this, I got to lose weight, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I never really did the deeper work of what was underneath the reason why I consciously or unconsciously chose to not be in my body and really celebrate it and utilize it as the vehicle that it is.
Was there an underlying belief that you found was running?
Oh, there are many of them, especially as a woman. You use body armor in a lot of different ways, and sometimes women use body armor that's called fat, and that protects them from trauma, that assault, abuse, objectification, all those things that happen. So there's many, many, many examples of those kinds of things that have happened. And at some point you get old enough where you just go, I'm tired of fighting this. I'm tired of having to have this be my constant demon. And that was one of the things that I would say was a catalytic experience for me when I got into my body and was aware of it. That really kicked off a lot of other parts of me to be more mindful and present of, because I had more strength to do it.
Got it. And I imagine the energy, because I've done the Tony Robbins work, and it really is, it takes you out of the cerebral and puts you into the physical and emotional body that we tend to, in business, ignore. Most people ignore it thinking, oh, I'm going to solve this all up here. And I always remind people, hey, you make a decision, it starts in your gut, moves up to your heart, and then you decide with your head. It's a 3-step process. And so I imagine for you, your energy. So what was your energy like, and what did you do to change? It must have been more than just food. So
oh yes, it was before food. It was joyful movement. So I had always been a dancer, closet dancer.
I love that.
But Solid Gold was my favorite show growing up. I wanted to be a Saturday night Gold LeMay dancer.
Yeah.
And yet
we'll have to put a link to one of your favorite Solid Gold dances that we can find.
Andy Gibb.
Yeah.
So, but I always just because I was so self-conscious, I never really let my my dancing freak flag fly. And then I found the hula hoop. In 2008.
It's such a simple, you could almost bring it anywhere. Maybe if you get it.
I did bring it everywhere. I have brought it everywhere.
Did you get the detachable one or a whole circle loop?
Oh yeah, I made my own. So I made them and they would collapse and I would travel with them.
We officially have to add the hula hoop to our store. We have an online store of devices, including REM, dream tools, and we'll have to add a hula hoop. It's such a simple device.
You know what? It's an amazing thing. And I actually did a TEDx talk on it, the power of joyful movement. And it's because that really unlocked for me when I found so much joy in moving and dancing and having this freedom. It really unlocked a lot of other different aspects to me. So that was actually the doorway. And I was a huge believer in stop exercising. Nobody wants to exercise. It's got too much obligation around it. The word.
There's not a lot of joy around it at all.
No, who wants to do that? Right? So it's about really finding the joy of it. And that was really one of the main tools that I used.
I love that. And we are definitely going to put that in the store immediately. So real quick question. Did you do it alone and did you do it in a group, this joyful movement?
I would do it every morning, 5 a.m. in the morning. I would travel, and I'm a Minnesotan, so sometimes these were sub-zero mornings. I would travel with my hula hoop to the local YMCA, and I'd put my earbuds in, and I would just do my thing and dance. But then, as a thought leader, I also would bring my hula hoop to my stage and share that. And then I would do workshops, and I even would have dance parties that I would do at conferences.
There's got to be a hula hoop thing in your bio.
Actually, I don't think it is anymore.
I think it needs to be like not professional, but I don't know if you've been paid to hula hoop. But
I was paid.
Paid to hula hoop. So professional hula hooper. And again, it's just about like, I love that you brought up the work and the exercise, because a lot of the things we're told to do not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about kind of tweaking that model of like, well, what do I do that makes me, like, I love to mountain bike. So I would much rather kick my own ass mountain biking than go to the gym and suffer in an indoor environment that was all closed this year. You couldn't even do it. I could do my sport all year long other than rain. So it's things like that where finding that joy that fills you up, makes you feel good, lowers your stress, your cortisol levels are, healthier. And so all those things. So I love that you found the hula hoop.
Well, and then I just dance, I do dancing every week, and I can even just dance in my living room, and I do yoga. So anything that feels good, I go for walks in nature every day. So it's like finding the joy and then weaving meditation, mindfulness into that.
And how did that come? So those are very important topics on our platform. So how did that work come into your life?
So
mindfulness and meditation specifically.
It was part of it was going through massage therapy school was one of the steps that I took. And then I just started to do deeper dives. I'd call those right teachers to me. I believe in that. I believe in the fact that when you're ready, the right people will show up as long as you pay attention to the cosmic noogie that pushes you in the right direction.
Cosmic noogie. Please trademark that. I love it.
Oh, it's in my book. It's in my book.
Mindful. In the book. All right.
But it really is, I have had just such the pleasure of learning from so many people about meditation and mindfulness. And I really, I use it as also a creativity tool. So for example, when I write something, whether it's an article or it's an essay or it's a speech, whatever it is, I will, all the time, I will step away from the glowing rectangles and I will get outside and I will move and then I will meditate and I will just get in my body, because once I'm in that, then the words and the inspiration and the right message comes through.
Comes through to you. I love that. And
so much faster and so much better.
Yeah, no, it's like a conduit, right? You're building a conduit of energy, and it's like getting rid of the clogs in the system. So talk to me a little bit more about some of the habits you do. So 5 a.m. you wake up I'm sure maybe not every day, but maybe every day. What are some of the other habits you've adopted to help you during a day and a weekday work day?
Sure. So a typical weekday for me is to wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning. Which
means you have to go to bed quite early, right?
Right. Now, you know what? Thank you, Jared, for bringing that up, because the key to being a morning person, which, by the way, I never was before, but now I am, is the night before. Yes. The night before is the key to a happy morning person. So, not drinking alcohol, not watching anything on any electronics, having a routine. I'm a bather. I like to have oils with music and calm me down and use that. Again, I multi-layer my experiences, right? Of course. And so going to bed, routine, then that gets me up in the morning, doing some stretching, some movement, some yoga, some visualization. I make sure I get outside. I will at least get out some sort of walk to get some fresh air before the day starts, because as well as I do, once you get connected to these glowing rectangles, it can be tough.
It is tough. And it's, I always say people are either, giving you energy or kind of drawing energy out, even for introverts and extroverts especially through this year, being on Zoom as much as we have been. It takes a lot. I'm an extroverted person by nature. I didn't used to be, but I am, I've realized. And so it takes a lot of energy to give and be that bouncing network for people. But you also have to have the recovery phase.
Oh,
wow, I'm depleted. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, because for me in my job, I am blessed.
You're a very high energy, extroverted person. I've been with you on multiple calls. It's amazing. So how do you keep that energy flow?
It's a commitment. So for example, in the morning, I will make sure that I've already made my breakfast. I know that I'm going to have egg muffins and I'm going to have spinach and I'm going to have some fruit. I already have that figured out. And then when I'm making my breakfast, I'm prepping my lunch, which is a salad, right? With lots and lots of vegetables in it and lean protein. So I'm getting it ready for myself as fuel. And so, and then I'm always thinking, okay, where's the break going to be? Where am I going to take some extra space, and just doing things all over. I mean, I've even got, rose oil right next to me. Whenever I'm starting to feel my energy drag, I'll put some on it, and it'll bring me back, because to me, my job is very energetically demanding. I'm listening, I'm strategizing, I'm holding space I'm consulting, coaching them through something, and it's a lot all the time. And so when my day is done, I need to make sure that I treat myself with as much care as I've treated other people. And to really restore myself. And I am not somebody who will feed my energy to toxicity, social media. I get on social media strategically, and then I get out.
Yeah.
I don't want to feed my life away.
I agree. For me, it's strategic tools. Being in media marketing, I have to be involved, and people are like, "Oh, you could just get off." I'm like, no, I can't. It's a tool that we have to leverage as part of this world. I wouldn't know how to share half the things I do without it. But it's a strategic choice, and occasionally I will try to figure out, well, how could I use this actually socially? And it's happy birthday announcements, it's checking with some friends. Yeah. But again, it's like a choice of, I want to do this now. Are you seeking to become a thought leader in your area of expertise? Do you want to have a following of people who are connected, engaged, who are listening to you and want to hear from you frequently? Are you currently an author, TEDx speaker, keynote host, coach, consultant, or entrepreneur founder? Are you hoping to be one of these roles? If so, you're gonna love this. We spent years creating this unique and bold expert level online course called Break On Through. It's a 6-week video curriculum with myself, Jared Brick, a media marketing expert, along with 4 other top leaders. Our goal is to skyrocket you into thought leadership role at any stage and any age in your career field by leveraging media and the modern syndication processes. Right now, we have a special offer running for just the first 10 people to sign up for this exciting and engaging online course. Click below to learn more, and we hope to see you in the spotlight soon. You said something really interesting. You said fuel. And I think that speaks to the strategic way of doing this. It's like, it's not just a meal. It's fueling a trip. It's fueling a conference. It's fueling a Zoom call. And thinking of it in that way of like, oh, I need this energy source to give this energy out. And I think even as a mindset, it's a really important mindset, like you said, to kind of address, how do we do this,
Yeah, and just even today, this happened where these types of things, whether it's essential oils or having my water next to me, or even just this yellow scarf. Yeah. So today, this morning, I woke up with sadness, and I was just not in a good place. And I have a very busy day, a full day, a rich day. And I put on bright yellow. And it's a belt that I had originally. And I thought, nobody else is going to see this, but I'm going to see it. And then I decided to accentuate it with this scarf.
I can't see anything below here right now, so you're fine.
Right? But when I first put this on, it was just for me. And it's color therapy. It's because I'm going to see myself all day. I don't want to see drab Theresa. I want to see bright Theresa. And when I see this blast of color, it's a tool that reminds me
to trigger
my system. Yes.
That's amazing. Keep it up. I love that. I actually started keeping, someone gave me a lavender satchel. And I keep it in the door of the van I drive, so that when I'm feeling stressed or tired, I can just literally use it like an oxygen mask when I'm driving, because I find that I get a little stressed out driving, trying to like coordinate a location or get back to someone or talk on the phone even while I'm driving. It's like, so just these little hacks. They're like little micro hacks.
Micro hacks to happiness and to prosperity too.
Yeah.
To prosperity too. That's the other thing is this stuff, 5 years ago, Jared, when I was talking about this on stages, about things like this and
people joyful. Looking at you crazy. Yeah.
7th layer cosmic muffiny woo woo. Now it's business. It's the fact that I can book, over $500,000 in sales because I can take care of my energy and show up.
More productive, more efficient, more financially rewarding careers. Exactly. I love it. And that's where I think the tide is turning. You could tell me the pulse of the nation, because you probably talk to more people on calls than I do per week. I feel like the tide is turning on mindfulness, yoga, meditation as strategic business tools to keep us in balance. And thank God, because 6 years ago or 10 years ago, it was kind of like laughed out of the room, where now you would have, the last company I worked with, we had a meditation room in the company, a nap room in the company. You could go in there, set a timer, close the windows, and just take a nap. And that was actually encouraged by management.
Nice.
And I think it's things like that where it's like, yes, just keep saying yes to those things, keep trying it, Yeah.
And it's not only is it, I seen the tide shift, but I've also seen the demographics shift. So it used to be primarily a female oriented, space, and kind of younger folks. And it's really everybody is talking about this. Everybody is talking about this. Even, the malest, stalest, and palest of them all understand at least the value of it, because it works. I mean, that's fundamentally the thing that we can all rely on, is that it actually does work. And that's what everybody
trusting something that might be like, am I comfortable enough to do this? Is this something that aligns with my value set? And then someone telling you, well, it worked for me, and I had X, Y, and Z, so you should try it too. That goes a long way. So I'm just so thankful that the market is shifting in this angle. And that's one of the reasons why I created Zen Hustlers, because I was going to a lot of hustle events. And so this is the next part of the talk I want to talk to you about, is let's talk about hustle. Like, where did you learn how to hustle from?
I learned how to hustle from my mother. She was a single mom when I was 5 years of age. That's her Think and Grow Rich copy, 1960.
Yep. Oh, that's the actual book?
That's the actual book.
That's the actual book. I love it.
$1.95. And I learned from her, and I learned from her directly, watching her. One of the most inspiring things I saw in hustle is my mom was a nurse during the day, and that's a hard job, as anyone knows, being in the medical profession. And she was very tired at the end of the day, and she would come home. She was a direct sales entrepreneur, and yes, she drove a pink Cadillac. You do the math. So she would, get all taken care of and put all back together again, and get her heels on, and in a Minnesota snowstorm with two big suitcases of product.
Somebody make a movie about this woman fast. Sounds amazing.
They should, and I should star in it.
Yes.
She would go across town, and she'd sell a mascara, and then she'd do it all over.
It was a movie where a woman invented a product and nobody believed in her, and she was a hustler. I don't.
The Joy, something about Joy.
Yeah, Joy. I think it was just called Joy.
Joy. Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of your mom. Yeah. That's amazing.
That's where I learned it.
So
That's where I learned it.
I find that people they take it in as a child, and they either kind of go that path or they resist that path. Like, hey, my dad was like this, and this. And like my father was in commercial packaging, hated his job, absolutely hated his work, hated the people he worked with, was very good at it, but he just came home miserable. And it created a middle-class lifestyle for me. But I grew up saying, hey, I'm going to love what I do. I am not going to return home to my family every day miserable, angry, cursing at the work that he was doing. It had nothing to do with us. He was happy to be home finally, if we could get him home. Yeah. And so I learned, and he would take me to the office. I'd go to those meetings. I'd meet these people. I agree. They were terrible. And so he was a nice guy working in a bad system. And it broke his spirit a little bit. And I hope he's okay. I don't know if I'll see this episode, but it formed this opposite connection in me of, I learned how to do the hustle, but you better damn well love your life and love what you're doing for work, or you're going to come home miserable every day of your life. Yeah. I shouldn't say every day. That's a bit dramatic, but it was a lot. I remember a lot. And so he would take me to work, and I would work on a factory line with all Spanish speakers in a factory. And man, you talk about hustle, it's like you got a quota to meet at the end of the day. And I learned that real quick. So I think our parents have such, being a parent of two, we have such a responsibility to teach that part of the model, right? Yeah. Like, how do you relate to work? How do you relate to your life? What are you going to bring home at the end of the day with you? all those
Yes.
things. Yeah.
What do you value? I mean, I was, by the time I was 6, 7 years old, I was, chief washcloth runner and product fulfillment officer.
Yeah.
So, I understood how business worked.
Yeah.
Especially understood how sales worked. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not an accident that
Yeah.
I'm excellent at sales. It's
No.
because I watched how to do it and what it really is, which is connection.
Yeah, and I think a
That's
lot
what
of people
sales
who resist that or didn't have parents who were doing that, they kind of lost that education in a way.
Yeah.
It's an education as a child, and I think if you probably interviewed, and we've been interviewing entrepreneurs and hustlers in this area, they had parents who kind of modeled that for them, and I think I'm just proud that as a parent I can model that for my kids, and so it's a big responsibility, but it's a great responsibility to have. Let's take a scenario here. You get on a call, it's a new client, and they are just an energy vampire. How do you handle that?
Mm.
Maybe it's just a conference call. Maybe it's not a client, because maybe you vet your clients differently.
I do. That's why I actually was like, well, actually,
And
I
then
don't
how do you
have
handle that? How do you handle that rejection to them, if so? Let's try this question one more time.
Okay.
What do we do when we have energy vampires that we have to be involved with in our work?
Okay.
How do you handle that
When
scenario?
ground, so less will affect you when you are more present and you are more grounded. That's number one. And there's lots of ways in which you can do that. Be outside, visualization, deep breathing, all those things can help. So grounding is number one when you're dealing with energy vampires. Number two is really, I believe in containers. Make sure you're aware of where your container is, your energy container, and where their energy container is. So no matter how loud they are, as long as you reinforce your own container by being grounded and being aware of where its edges are, then that's far less apt to affect you, right? And then being aware of what your trigger words are, being
What's an example?
going in.
Will you give me an example of one of your trigger words?
When someone passively aggressively refers to a group as opposed to just having the courage to just talk to me. So, if I know that's what I'm going to get triggered by energetically, then before I have that conversation with that person, I'm going to ground. I'm going to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember who I am and that person is that person.
Yeah.
And then when that person says that passive aggressive comment, I'm expecting it, and it can almost bounce off me and sort of smile off me, as opposed to coming in and affecting me.
Yeah.
Awareness is a powerful tool.
Yeah. And do you find that it was the same when you were in person with people as it is with Zoom now?
I think that when we're in person, it's a far more intense experience because of just its multidimensionality.
Yeah.
So I remove myself oftentimes. I'm very, very sovereign when it comes to my power. I want to make sure that if I feel that a situation is not healthy for me, energetically, physically, emotionally, in any other way, I'm going to remove myself or move out of that situation. So I don't let anybody suck on my energy.
Got it. And were you always like this, or this was something you learned professionally?
I've learned over the course of decades since going through massage therapy school and owning my own alternative healing center and doing all of this mindfulness studies. I've learned through the course of that time about energy, about boundaries, about permission, about grounding, all those things I've kind of grown into, and frankly I've learned it by stumbling, right? By falling down and going, why do I feel terrible when I'm around this person all the time?
Yeah. Have you
We're
found
always learning.
How do you, I'm just curious, just to wrap up this one topic, is how do you communicate that to someone where you don't want to work with them any longer? What's a way you would say it in a way that's they would hear it, not get more triggered, and actually maybe even say, oh, you're right, maybe this isn't the best way maybe we shouldn't work together. Have you experienced that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first thing is I believe in the power of gratitude. I think gratitude is a magic elixir that will fix nearly ailment. And so I start out with gratitude, and I actually do literally start out energetically in my heart with gratitude. And when I shift into that genuine frequency of gratitude, thank you, Mr. Wrong. Thank you, Ms. No Way.
Yeah.
When I can actually be in that place of, oh, wow, how much did I learn from them? And how much growth did I have? Then I'm softer, and I'm not as, they don't pick up on me judging them or me rejecting them. It actually does feel like a conversation or a connection that reaches its natural conclusion.
Got it.
When I'm softer.
That's great. And it gets you back in touch with you first, which I think is a powerful thing. And you're not in a triggered space, because we can't communicate very well when we're triggered. Let's be honest. Like part of the brain is almost shut down and you can't communicate well. So that makes sense to love and fear. Yeah.
That's it. Choose which one.
Yeah. You actually wrote, we asked you in our little profile, what's one issue you're out to change in the world? And you wrote, a passionate advocate for choosing love over fear in every area of our lives. So you are officially walking the talk. I love it. Thank you.
Doing my best.
You also wrote to yourself, we asked you, what would you tell your younger self? And I want you to contextualize that for people who are out there now. Maybe they're younger or older, it doesn't matter, but they're not where you are now. And you wrote, don't take it personally. You don't have to fit the mold of what a successful, valued woman looks or acts like. Be your own awesomeness.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that?
I'm especially passionate about supporting the next generation of women, because I grew up with an understanding of what a successful woman is, and she was everything I wasn't. Tall, blonde,
even with
skinny.
the mother that trained you, right? Even with the mom that trained you.
Even with it was society. It was society that taught me these things. It was Charlie's Angels that taught me this. It was Julie, the cruise director, that taught me this. These are all the things that told me what
That's
women.
The Love Boat, folks. If you haven't seen it,
look it up, youngins.
Yeah,
Google
look it up. You can look it up. Yeah.
So yeah, it's about really truly being, because if I really feel, Jared, if I would have been in my body and accepting my body and me and who I was back then, Lord knows what I could have done. Right. I don't want every girl and woman to wait until she's 40 to start loving herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. This has been an eye-opening, enlightening conversation. I always love the energy that you exude. It really does translate and transfer to me, and I feel better after every interaction I've had with you, which to me means energetically we're a good fit to continue and having conversations. I hope that you will join us in another future session. We're going to share your books. We're going to share your profile that you created that we could put on Zen Hustlers. Feel free to refer people to it. Any last ways that you'd like to leave with parting knowledge or a mantra? I noticed we asked you, do you have a favorite mantra? Everything in my life I create, promote, or allow.
I do. And you know what I've been using, Jared? And I just want to say thank you for holding this space. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. I love to, if I can inspire one person to live a more loving and joyful life, then it's a day well spent. Yeah. Is for me, it's about not having a good day. Make it a good day. Make it a good day, because every day is precious. And so if we can have a more conscious intention of what we want to create for our lives, I think the world will be a better place.
It's beautiful. Got me emotional on that one. Thank you. Yeah. And the creation of that and the action it takes to create those days when things are not going well, because they are not always going to go well, and stuff will come at you from every direction. So thank you so much. How would you like people to get in touch with you to learn more about you professionally? Is it LinkedIn or a website?
Sure. They can come see me at LinkedIn at Theresa Rose Presents, or just go to theresarose.com, and it looks like theresarose.com.
Okay, there we go. All right. Well, thank you so much again. We're going to feature your profile on the Zen Hustlers blog and share this on the podcast. And for all of you entrepreneurs out there, there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. If you're feeling like you're just doing the run and the hustle and it's just not working for you, and intuitively something's like, hey, this is not working, please reach out for support, whatever that looks like, whether it's Zen Hustlers or any other communities and people in your life that do care about you, because this is a life or death situation, unfortunately, that we've reached this plateau in business. So thanks for taking the time with us today. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions at zenhustlers.com, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.